Greetings, good evening, and welcome to TFT Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Banshee, and me, Oberon. And this is Goth Tarot, my weekly look into the shadow sides of our lives, the emotional, gothic realm of our existence, whether it's too emotional, too depressed. We're covering those feelings here, showing where it may not be exactly as you perceive. We do this with several cards from several different decks that evoke the dark themes. And we start off with the general focus at this time. All right. So we're using the Murder of Crows deck, and we're going to see what is the dark design, what is the focus or environment for this week. And it's a beast of a deck to shuffle, it just is. So please permit me a little bit to work with that. And the dark design, the focus of this week is strength. How can we apply more of our emotional, compassionate understandings to the various struggles, the various goals or undertakings that we're involved in? This will be the focus, to figure out or to actually go ahead and apply something different rather than just force to affect our will. Now, we use two modifying cards that are additional cards to the Murder of Crows. There are actually 4 cards as 2 double-sided cards. One is an indicator for timing, and the other is an indicator for whether these have psychological or physical effects. So in order to keep it fair, I'm going back to the die roll. So if we roll, the first reading will be the timing. Is this the beginning of what this dark design portends? Or is it the ending of this matter? Eight. So it's an even number, so therefore we use the Crow of Dusk. The Crow of Dusk is the indicator or modifier that tells us this will end the matter, this will be the ending of the matter. That how we use our emotional courage and force and strength to resolve the issues of contrary force against us is what I feel. That maybe this involves more of a personal kind of issue, disagreement, problem with somebody or something, some situation. Okay then, so how does this affect us? Does this affect us more emotionally or physically? And so once again, we're going to use one of the additional cards of the Murder of Crows and roll our die. And of course, one is a patriarchal sense, the Crow Father representing that it's a physical matter, and then the Crow Mother representing that it's more of a psychological matter. So 1 or 2. 1 is father, 2 is mother. And I rolled 6. So it's the Crow Mother, and therefore this will mostly affect us emotionally. And that of course makes sense, that the way we apply emotional courage or force towards resolvement of problems is totally about how it affects us psychologically, what it really makes us feel like, if I want to coin a phrase. This is an important focus for us, that this indicates that this week we can bring a certain matter to a good conclusion despite how it's going to affect us emotionally. But we have to be really resilient and strong in that matter. We have to apply more of our understanding than rather just trying to force this answer. Okay then, so I'm going to move on to our next question. In all of that, or in general this week, what are the dark shadows? What haunts us? What is that thing we just can't seem to get away from? And so for that, I'm using the Goth Tarot by Los Scarabeo. Beautiful deck. And as I said, we're looking at the idea of the dark shadows that remain despite this or other things. The thing or things that are haunting you, psychologically or otherwise. Something you just can't hide from. Something that remains somehow for you. We've been here before. Or maybe not, I don't remember. Some of the times the cards look very similar in this deck, but it's a reversed King of Cups. And of course that would be, pretty much what is haunting us. Maybe it's the feeling that there's some supreme unkindness, unresponsive emotionally, that we just don't feel this emotional heart or energy that maybe we want to feel here, that would help us resolve these problems. And maybe it's because whatever this issue is, it's just so emotionally deep with us that it maybe brings out really our worst aspects. That's what haunts us, is these are our worst aspects. This is our feelings of bitterness or pettiness, anger or rage, no matter how much we don't maybe show that, or maybe it's unrealized by others. And I'll have to tell you, you folks out there in Goth Tarot land, that this is exactly where I'm at this week. That not necessarily the rage, but certainly this just really emotional distance within myself and feeling kind of cut off in a way. I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm just throwing that out there, though. This is what haunts you, is the inability maybe to connect emotionally or to be more fulfilled emotionally. So as I said before, I believe I did, this is version 2.0 of Goth Tarot. I had a different version that used some of these decks for the same meanings, but I've rearranged it and added or deleted some. And so this is a deck that made the grade. This is the Night Sun Tarot, and I asked two questions that are pretty much the same. That in this matter, what is number one, which we'll deal with right now, is what is the dark truth? What are the kind of realities that you now understand? What is it that you realize you really will have to deal with, whether or not you really want to accept it? And it's the Five of Pentacles, upright. The dark truth is that you just are overwhelmed and you don't really want to see, or you don't know what you want to do. You really are confused, and you probably are turning away or just trying to remain blissfully unaware of what you need to do, what can help you, what would help you to understand this overwhelming emotionality and or sadness. That's the truth. That you're blinded to a reality that could help you, and that you're too wrapped up emotionally in what this situation is. So then the next card is also from the Night Sun Tarot, and it's the Dark Sacrifice. The Dark Sacrifice is the sorrows you're bearing now, or the things you really should consider sacrificing, deleting from your life, getting rid of. And it's the Four of Pentacles. It's upright. And the Four of Pentacles says, you have maybe a serious situation with how you look at your material life, and there's things about this that you're holding on to that maybe you have to let go. I don't know that this is really your view of your comfort level or your view of what your goals are, but it looks to me like something really needs to change or get chucked in terms of how you are looking at what you cling to, what you are holding on to, mostly as it may affect your material life. So, for example, it could also indicate that maybe you're possibly overly worried about your physical security. And I don't necessarily mean health, but it could apply to health. Let's just say that it could apply to health or safety factors, and that maybe you have to come to terms with that and change or get rid of what your thinking has been so far. So, for example, if you're thinking you have to be overloaded with surveillance cameras or different indicators to protect you, or if it's just other things that you use to protect yourself, to hold on to certain things, you need to consider coming to terms with that, and maybe some of those are things that need to go. And that's just, as usual, my perfect lead-in to the idea of what really sucks. What is the dark spiral? What sucks in your life? The dark spiral. And for that I use the Vampire Tarot. What else could I use? And I just love saying that, because to me that's the essence of being goth and emo, is you tend to end up feeling that there's big parts of your life that suck and you want them to change. So hopefully we give you some of the tools to at least understand why that is, because it's up to you to make the choice to change. You're the one that can change the suckage. So go for it. Don't be afraid. How interesting. The Hierophant. Upright. Whoa, let's get it over there. This is what sucks in your life. this is what sucks, because you think you should maybe care too much about what others think, or about what society thinks. And of course, on the face of it, that's not very goth. You know, goth should probably not care. So maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe this is saying that what sucks is that right now you're trapped in that. You're trapped in somebody else's standards, and you want to resist that. I think that's what that really means. That what's sucking right now is that despite all these situations, something is basically holding you back or reserving you from making the movement you need to. It is possible too to suggest maybe that you need to look towards more traditional ways to deal with some of this, and that maybe you resist that just naturally because you do. I'm not going to align this with goth values or anything of the sort. I think this is just about what we're going through this time, that maybe the whole emotional barrage, trying to do right, really feeling bad about doing right, or not really perceiving where we can really go with this and what we really should be doing, basically results in a resistance to that kind of order. And that maybe what sucks is that this is your inner self telling you you need to kind of focus and apply actual values to the situation to help you figure it out. I'm just going to leave it at that. But then finally, now that we know what sucks more or less, what will be the dark gift that will help us to get through this then? To help us understand or apply something different towards that dark design, the dark shadows, the dark truth, the dark sacrifices we really need to make, and the dark spiral that all of this has been contributing to. What is the gift from the Crow's Magick Tarot? What is our dark gift? It's the Page of Coins, upright. The Page of Coins, to me, always talks about a sense of mysticism, but it's a message too, because the pages are messengers. And I'm thinking the dark gift is your inner self, your ability to just divorce yourself from all those other cares and focus. There's a sense of focusing and being inspired by your own sense of focusing within this page, within the Page of Coins or Pentacles. So I want you to consider that highly, that that is the way to go here, that really this is a time to consider how to apply your emotional strengths and values, work on your bitterness, see what's really there for you to help you, consider changes to your feelings of security or materialism, and just, resolving whether you need to dig or chuck the order of things. And you do that by going into yourself and finding that message in yourself. So I want all of you to consider that. And now, as promised, I am here to deliver, because it's Super Tarot Love Month. It was just Valentine's Day on Monday, and that feels like that energy is just going to go on one way or the other. It really is. So I'm going to now add to our week by doing what I mentioned I would do it at the beginning of the program and elsewhere, and pulling a card to be my Dark Valentine. My Dark Valentine. What is, I'm getting carried away here, your obsession? What is the obsession within all of this that maybe, you know, it would help you if you knew what that was. It's not exactly the same as what haunts you or what you need to sacrifice. I'm using the Deviant Moon Tarot to show us my dark Valentine. What is my obsession, or what is it that obsesses me to the point of harmfulness in my life? It's the sun. How twisted is that? Your obsession maybe is really trying to move into this direction, knowing that you really can't. That for you as a goth person, there's just too many shadows in your life for the sun to not really penetrate. And that the obsession really maybe is the idea that you don't want that sunlight. You sort of want to keep it on the dark side. You sort of want to maybe allow yourself to have those feelings of cloudy days, rainy days, dark days, shadowy days. And even as a goth, you need that. So your obsession really should be about allowing the forces to help you. It's kind of like what I showed before with the Five of Pentacles. That's always about recognizing what's out there. Happy Valentine's Day. Let the sun shine. Until next week, this was Goth Tarot with Oberon for TFT Tarot for Today.